Hi, and good morning, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is Vlogs About Nothing. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your very busy morning to join me. I really do appreciate it. Just know that I post these videos just right as soon as I make them, and wouldn't you know, sometimes I prefer to do nothing as opposed to doing something. Hence, Vlogs About Nothing. A place where you can view a middle-aged man and live vicariously through his own perspectives on just how the world is, how it was, and probably how it should be, you know? And so it's for those very reasons that I'm coming at you this morning to give you, my audience, the best kind of advice I can possibly give you. And let's assume that my audience is like under the age of 40, all right? Because, if you're not, then again, I'm almost 40. I'm almost excluding my own self from my own demographic. You feel me? I know where this is headed. I'm just saying that not all people over the age of 40 are Richards, We'll just say that 80% of them are. So, it's all good. I'm the lucky guy. I got the privilege of having the two of each of those 10 people, statistically speaking, over the age of 40 in my life. You feel me? So I got it about as lucky as a guy could have it, This is what happens when you try to speak fast and or have a personality on camera. Sometimes it just doesn't work. The jokes don't land. The guy on camera doesn't look as spicy as he thinks that he looks, After all, it does take me at least 5 minutes to get ready for this show. Jesus Christ. Anyways, I want to give some advice out there, to the young people of the world, right? Because oftentimes you may see me or not, you may hear me or not talk about things that, are kind of sad, kind of depressing, kind of, like thought-provoking, right? In that, at the very least, I want you guys to explore alternative remedies to age-old problems that, just seem to just, like, go on forever, and they never end, and no one ever has any solutions, and we should all just be so lucky to be alive. At some point, yeah, it's cool, right? I'm grateful, it's awesome, but, like, what about everyone else, What about, like, the person that I see that I'll never get to know because there are so many of us, and I'd like to have an opportunity to get to know as many of you as I can. I definitely would. In my personal life, I try to go out of my way to talk to as many people that I can, to hear as many stories that I can, before I want to walk off a bridge. This is the extent of which my active listening skills are always on. This is why I enjoy doing nothing in life, and you can find me, practicing that very ideology anytime that I can, right? But the thing is that, like, there's some advice that I can give to everyone, right? And I'll just go ahead and start giving the advice, okay? So first of all, I don't think young people, like, should even at this point listen to anything at all anyone over the age of 40 has to tell you. You got eyes, you got ears, you have your experiences, you're living them, you see how unequal the world is, if you don't, then please take off the lenses, the rose-colored lenses, and just look outside for a little while. If you don't want to go outside because you got that lucky life where you get to, jet set and avoid all of the inconvenient aesthetics of a really unequal world, then, like, get outside of the box. There are a lot of problems. There really are. And it's really important that young people do what they can to solve these problems. Not people that are, like, seriously old enough to be your great grandpa, and yes, I'm talking about the commander-in-chief, Mr. President Donald Trump, right? What kind of possible outcome can we expect when the guy who's leading our country is, again, old enough to be that racist great grandpa that we all so socially still give a pass to because it was from a time forgotten, you know? Oh, good old great grandpa, he might be a little racist. He might drop the N-word every Thanksgiving dinner, you know, but he's a good guy at heart. It's the 21st century, grandpa. You gotta stop saying the N-word. You know, this is the kind of world that we live in, right? When, point in fact, that very example is a good example of somebody who is leading this country, right? And I mean, if we're to look at leadership for any kind of, you know, leader, like leadership skills, if we were to look to leaders for leadership, then, you know, we may find ourselves in a bit of a fascist sort of equation, right? At least currently. But all jokes aside, it's really important that the youth and that the young people of this country continue to move forward and acknowledge the realities of which they will soon be well versed to as they graduate from college and find out that the highest paying job they can get is at Starbucks, who is non-union, who refuses to sort of adjust to the idea that they are a really good company that, you know, at this point should probably really strongly reconsider the very modality of which it makes its huge sums of money, and that's the people that make it for them, you know? I mean, not to get all Marxist on you guys, but it's really important that you take care of workers. You know, I mean, like, without the workers, you know, there's no coffee to sell, you know, there's no dining room to discriminate against poor people for because you're charging $12 a latte, and if they're not paying that price, then by God, they can't use this public restroom. I mean, again, there are a lot of messed up rules, okay? And so it's really important that, you know, even if you have like any kind of sense, right, that you acknowledge these things, that you talk about these things, and that you do whatever you can to change these things. There are a number of different things that you can do to change the world around you, all of which include a kind of diluted sense of self, because the world is that bad of a place, you know, and don't let anybody fool you, because you may be experiencing a good time, and I'm pro good time in life, right? I mean, get a little hedonistic on me, and, you know, it's sort of like, why not enjoy life? It's just, there are a lot of people who don't get to even pontificate that very idea, who don't even get to exercise any sort of like volition of having an idea or concept of free will. Not at all. Not even the kind that can be taken for granted and or in often most cases exploited by those very same people who give us this freedom so that we're like helplessly lost and that we spend the majority of our lives trying to figure out what need not to be figured out, which is like the government, you know, has a lot of responsibility, and only more responsibility as populations increase, and the idea that capitalism is just another ruse or another guise for modern day slavery, right? So, I mean, it's really important that socialist topics are discussed. It's really important that as a young person you acknowledge the fact that while it's cool to work at Starbucks at a non-union place, it could be better. Starbucks could be a unionized place. You could leave college and have an opportunity to, even if you did only have an opportunity to work at Starbucks, with things like universal basic income and universal health care and like loan forgiveness, you know, that kind of like free up in your finances. It might even help Starbucks out in that like they might not have to pay you a lot more, you know, than they're already low paying you, because the government ultimately is doing what it needs to do, and that is to take care of you, right? That's like ultimately what the government needs to do. I mean, and, you know, moreover, it's almost as if capitalism is a convenient kind of a way for the government to pass the buck on to people whom they know aren't going to do any sort of good service towards humankind. I mean, you can't ask people to do the right thing. I think this is what I'm coming down to, right? Is that in a world where, like, I'm sitting here as a 37-year-old dude telling you guys what I think that you should do, I just feel like people should really thoroughly examine like all of the different kinds of opportunities they have in life. And I did lose track completely of where I was going. It's because I started looking at my tie. Hey, I'm almost out of character here, but I just gotta stress to you guys out there that like the world can be a really awesome place. Okay, forget all like the secrets and all the collusion and all the fascism and all of the bigotry and all of the hatred. These things also exist, without a doubt. However, I argue that they only exist because we do make them exist. Like this is our construct, I mean, just so much is that when we take opportunity away from people, we quickly learn that, we may not be able to make everybody happy regardless, but the more things you take away from people, the less quality of a life they have, and thereby, like, the more likely they are to do, quote, evil, close quote, things. I mean, if you incentivize bad behavior, and if you incentivize criminal, collusion, then it's those very things that you are going to get, I mean, you need to enforce and advocate for, like, public policy reform that benefits everyone, not just a few people, and not just some argument where I'm saying, there's too many rich people, right? I mean, like, forget a rich person. You know how wealthy the government is? I mean, seriously, guys, I could make this stuff up, right? Ultimately, it's the government's responsibility. It's not Donald Trump's responsibility. He's a fascist puppet, right? In terms of running what's currently a fascist government by all means of the definition, right? Like, it's not a joke anymore. That is what's happening. So, I mean, if, like, we can get enough people to do bad things, then I'm strongly convinced that in an environment that encourages people to do good things, people will do good things. I mean, if you incentivize good behavior, I'm pretty sure that good behavior is what, in fact, you will get, right? I mean, it might cost money. Everything costs money, including incentivizing societies to be on their best behavior, right? Like, again, this is just standard parent bribery 101. You want people to do things for you, you gotta give them money. I mean, is it really that simple? I'd argue that it is. At least from a government-constituent relationship, in that the government really needs not to be in your life at all, other than to make sure that you keep getting that check every month so that you can spend that money and continue to grow an arbitrary economy, I mean, this is the name of the game, and I just feel like so many people don't get to play it that it's really... it's kind of super messed up at some point, right? It's kind of like, you want everybody to play this game. We all understand that it's a game. We all understand that capitalism sucks. We all understand that nobody should be working at any job for any kind of amount of money that isn't reflective of what it needs to have in your pocket to spend on things that you need to survive, right? Again, because, like, that's how the free market should work. But unfortunately, again, it doesn't work like that because the government doesn't enforce and or make people do the right thing, right? They're just kind of like, hey, Mr. Private Company, here's $2 billion. Do you mind being honest with that money and sharing it with your employees, and, not asking local municipalities for huge tax breaks that allow you to keep all that money, not give it to your employees, and then somehow it comes out missing, and in 10 years that same guy is on the local news channel for some sort of Ponzi scheme. I mean, this is the way of the world, right? So again, advice for young people: continue to be aware, continue to be, present in a world that doesn't want you to be present. It doesn't want you involved, right? Because if you're involved and if you're present, you might actually want to do things to change the world that you see in a more, anti-status quo kind of a way, right? But like we all know that the status quo will always prevail. It's just trying to get them to bite on the idea that socialism is what's better, not just for everyone, but for them exclusively. Then I think we have something to talk about, right? Because again, it's not about doing anything that can't not be done. It's just about, coming to the bargaining table and trying to figure out who we need to talk to make it so that the government, pays up on what it owes its members of society. And that's a good life. You feel me? That's all that I'm saying. You know, the Pentagon's building $500 billion warplanes, and you're sitting at home living paycheck to paycheck trying to figure out what you're going to get from Walmart. You know, I mean, I'm speaking on facts because I know the facts of how real life is, right? But it's just kind of frustrating. It's a little frustrating. So we'll keep talking about it here on the program. That's all that we can do, right? And I really want to get out of character, so all right. Hey, thanks for watching my show. I really appreciate it. You know, it means a lot to me. I couldn't continue to make these kinds of videos without your support. Well, I mean, I guess I could, right? You can scroll down quickly and see that not a lot of videos have a lot of views, but I've been unable to repost a lot of the videos too from the past, because again, there's over 1,000 of them. So right now it might not look like a whole lot, but a lot of people have watched this show over the past year and a half, and I really appreciate you guys, okay? Seriously. It gives me the kind of motivation and incentive, you know, that I need to continue to dress up like this, you know, speak the way that I speak, and talk about some of the things that we talk about, right? Because, you know, I'm not like spending my entire free time in my personal life talking about these things. It's business time. You know, I need everybody to be focused, right? Just so much as I'm focused. And we're trying to get good things done in the world. And that is including, you know, making sure that people have an opportunity to even have, right, the chance to do something good in life. I feel like we're taking away too many opportunities from too many different parts of society, and it's not going to be good. Trust me, it's not going to be good at all. There's no private person out there on the surface of this planet that is so benevolent to make it so that, you know, they have no conflict of interest, and that they're all good in the hood, right? I think all human beings are faulty to a point, and so it's really important that we admit our faults, we're accountable for our actions, and that we seek to be better people, right? Like, that's all that we can do, and we can certainly do that. But we need help from larger powers, right? We need help to do the right thing, and moreover, I think we can get that help if we continue to ask for it in a positive way, right? So, you know, go socialism. Hey, I'm gonna end this video. I really appreciate you guys. Little Jackie Chan's here, so we're gonna Jackie Chan, good boy. He's a really good jumper, but sometimes needs help. Alright, you guys have a really good day. Thanks for watching my show. I promise I'll make another video later. And, I don't know. That's all I got for you now. So, have a really good Sunday, okay? Bye.